You're not just feeding a young athlete, and it doesn't have to be a science project or a second full-time job. Let me guess. You're standing in the kitchen, it's 6 a.m., you're trying to figure out what special meal to make your athlete while the rest of the family gets regular breakfast. You're scrolling through Instagram, seeing other sports parents posting about their kids' perfect pregame smoothie bowl, and you're wondering if you're doing enough. Maybe you've got a pantry full of expensive supplements that some coach recommended you purchase, or you're making separate dinners because someone told you athletes need special food. Here's what we've learned from working with hundreds of families. The best nutrition for your young athlete isn't what you think it is. I'm Coach Mike, and we specialize in a holistic youth athletic development, and we've worked with families who are spending thousands of dollars on supplements, burning themselves out making special meals, and creating food anxiety in their households, all because they thought feeding a young athlete required some completely different approach. But what if I told you that the best nutrition for your young athlete is actually what works best for your whole family? By the end of this video, you'll understand why the Cleveland Clinic functional approach to family nutrition will fuel your athlete's performance better than any special diet or supplement stack, while making your life easier, not harder. And we're not just talking about this season's performance, we're talking about building healthy habits that'll last a lifetime and give your kid the building blocks to understand what healthy eating looks like when they're not under your roof anymore. Stop making special plates. Build healthy families first. You think you need to become a short order cook, making one meal for your athlete and one other for everyone else. Here's the reality. When you create separate meals for your athlete, you're actually doing three things that hurt them. First, you're teaching them that normal food isn't good enough for their performance. Second, you're creating food anxiety where they start to believe that they can't perform without special meals. And third, and this is the one that breaks my heart, you're setting them up to have no idea how to eat when they leave your home. I had a client whose daughter was a phenomenal soccer player. Mom was making her special protein pancakes for breakfast, special quinoa bowls for lunch, and completely different dinners from the rest of the family. The daughter was performing well, but here's what happened when she went to her first overnight soccer camp. She panicked. She didn't know how to eat from the regular cafeteria. She was calling her mom crying because she didn't know what foods were allowed for athletes. That's not building an athlete, that's building dependency. We want to have healthy athletes, but we want to start building healthy families first. You don't want a parent having to make any special plate for just one kid. That causes all sorts of downstream problems. The foundation should be whole foods that work for everyone. Every plate should have the same components, a quality protein source, colorful vegetables, and healthy carbohydrates. The whole family eats the same way. Your athlete doesn't need special food. They need good food consistently. Think about what happens when your athlete goes to college or moves out. If they've only known special athlete food versus regular family food, they have no framework for making good choices on their own. But if they've grown up eating balanced, whole food meals with the family, they understand what healthy eating looks like in any situation. Now let's unpack something that might surprise you. We're not banning treats. In fact, flexibility is the secret to staying consistent over the years. Let me tell you about research from the Journal of Adolescent Health. The study found that athletes whose parents used overly restricted eating patterns had significantly higher rates of disordered eating behaviors and performance anxiety around food. These kids were more likely to binge eat when they had access to forbidden foods, and they showed increased stress hormones before competition. Compare that to athletes whose family emphasized flexibility and balance. These kids had better long-term adherence to healthy eating patterns, lower stress levels, and here's the kicker, better overall performance metrics over time. So let's emphasize consistency for the long term over rigidity for the short term. This doesn't mean anything goes. Your athlete learns that most of their fuel comes from quality sources, but they also learn that a slice of birthday cake at a teammate's party isn't going to derail their overall performance. Farmers markets over vitamin aisle, while real food beats supplements. Here's where I'm going to challenge something that's become way too common in youth sports, the idea that young athletes need supplements to perform. The supplement industry has done an incredible job of convincing parents that young athletes need special powders, pills, and drinks to perform. But here's what the research actually shows. According to the American College of Sports Medicine, the vast majority of young athletes can meet all their nutritional needs through a well-balanced diet. In fact, unnecessary supplementation in youth athletes can actually interfere with their body's natural ability to absorb nutrients from food. When possible, choose the most natural versions of food. The closer it looks to how nature made it, the better. I had a family who came to me after spending over $300 a month on supplements for their 12-year-old baseball player. The kid was getting stomach aches, his sleep was disrupted from all the stimulants, and his performance was actually declining. We did comprehensive testing and found out he wasn't deficient in anything. His body was just overwhelmed trying to process all these synthetic nutrients. We eliminated everything except for a basic multivitamin and focused on whole foods. Within 6 weeks, his energy was more consistent, his sleep improved, and his performance on the field was better than it had been. Your money is better spent on quality whole food than expensive supplements your kid probably doesn't need and might not even properly absorb. Let's talk about something that can make or break your athlete's energy throughout the day: snack strategy. Most sports parents think they're doing the right thing loading up on sports drinks and energy bars, but they're actually creating energy roller coasters that hurt performance. We want snacks that combine protein, healthy fats, and complex carbohydrates. Think apple slices with almond butter, not just a granola bar. Greek yogurt with berries and nuts, not just a sports drink. This approach teaches your athlete to fuel their body consistently rather than chase quick energy fixes. They learn to recognize that sustained energy feels like versus the spike and crash cycle. And when they're older and making their own food choices, they have the internal wisdom to choose foods that actually support their performance. The beautiful thing about this approach is that it works for the whole family. There aren't special athlete snacks, they're just good snacks that happen to be perfect for athletic performance. The big takeaway is that nutrition isn't about rules and restrictions, it's about habits. Build meals that work for the whole family. Keep them balanced, keep them real, and make them consistent. But here's what most parents don't realize. The way you approach nutrition is actually connected to how your athlete handles pressure, builds confidence, and develops mental resilience. The same principles of balance, consistency, and long-term thinking that create great nutrition habits also create the mental foundation that separates good athletes from great ones. Now, if you're realizing that your family's approach to nutrition might need some adjustments and you want a systematic way to build these healthy habits while supporting your young athlete, there's a link in the description where you can learn more about our holistic approach to youth athletic development. Because nutrition is just one piece of creating a resilient, confident athlete who thrive both on the field and off the field.